away we go. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you happen to be in the world today. Welcome one and all to Coffee Talk. It is time once again for Coffee Talk Live, where we will be having some discussion about what is going on in the world today. We'll take a look at some clips from the news, share a little bit of dialogue with those of you who are able to join us for the live portion. And if you are listening anywhere else and you would like to join the live portion, you can find us Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, on Coffee Talk and Prepper University, at Coffee Talk Live and at Prepper University. You can find me on X at Coffee Talk Chat. You can find me on fistfulofradio.com, podcasting out of Atlanta. You can find me on Rumble, Coffee Talk 2 on Rumble, and I'll throw that up there. Coffee Talk 2 with the number 2 on Rumble. I'll put that in the chat. Although if you're on Rumble and you're watching the live portion, I cannot see your comments. I cannot see your comments. Only I can see the comments from YouTube. And that was Monkey jumping off the chair back there. I see Helter is with us today, as well as Jane, Dragon, Jimmy, Monkey, choosing to say hello so far, and hi to everybody else who did not want to chime in, but that's okay. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. But if you're in the live portion and you wanted to say hello, that is fine. As we get ready to jump off here and see what's going on in the world today, I see Country Living has joined us, as well as JJ chiming in today. Being a little sluggish there, Restream. Let's go, huh? Haven't got all day. Haven't got all day, Restream. Monkey Cat is in the room, but he's not accessible. He's just kind of wandering around behind me there, if anybody was keeping track of the felines. And we get ready to get started. I'll jump into what's going on with that thumbnail today in a few minutes. We'll get to that. Wanted to start off with a Fox News article, more on President Trump, because I don't think he's slowed down for 10 seconds. I don't know if he's even slept since the inauguration. I see D'Lo has joined us from California. And as I alluded to, we'll jump into a Fox News article. Here's an organization that really needs a big overhaul. Department of Veteran Affairs places 60 DEI employees on leave with salaries totaling more than $8 million. So 6 employees make more than $8 million, which would come out to what? $135,000 apiece to enforce DEI policies. The Department of Veterans Affairs has placed nearly 60 employees on leave who diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and had a combined salary of more than $8 million. That's your tax dollars at work. The VA said in a press release Monday that it completed its implementation of President Trump's executive order to end DEI in the federal government. He's moving fast, because any other time that would have taken a year for them to get around to it. Part of the VA's abolishment of DEI within the agency meant placing on paid administrative leave about 60 employees who were solely focused on DEI initiatives. The VA said the combined salary of the employees, including base pay, locality pay, and additional earnings, exceeds $8 million, with the average pay being about $136,000 per year per employee. Oh, I was close. One of the employees had a salary of over $220,000. In addition to employees on leave, the VA said it identified multiple contracts for DEI-related training, materials, and other consulting services that are currently being looked at for cancellation. The combined value of the contracts is more than $6.1 million. And granted, that's a drop in the bucket when you talk about VA spending, but it's a start. And I know people are wondering, why are these people being put on administrative leave? Because if they're under contract, you can't outright terminate them, but you can start to phase them out, which is what's going on. Over the coming weeks and months, the VA said it plans to work on reallocating resources to better support the veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors who the agency exists to serve. Shouldn't you have already been doing that? Which is exactly the problem. That is exactly the problem. I'll read that again. Over the coming weeks and months, the VA said it plans, not that it's already doing this, but it plans to work on reallocating resources to do what? To better support the veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors who the agency exists to serve. All that tells me is you haven't been doing it. You've been wasting money on other nonsense, like the video I put out a couple of weeks ago complaining, or was it a short? I think I did a short complaining about VA waste because of all of the next day air letters that my wife gets all the time from them. The VA is also taking down DEI related materials for digital assets. And this is a quote. Under President Trump, VA is laser focused. Also, we're George Bush Sr. now. 1,000 points in light, laser focused. VA is laser focused on providing the best possible care and benefits to veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors, says Morgan Ackley, who is the VA's director of media. We are proud to have abandoned. We are proud to, listen to this spin. We are proud to have abandoned the diverse DEI policies of the past and pivot back to VA's core mission. We look forward to reallocating the millions of dollars the department was spending on DEI programs and personnel to better serve the men and women who have bravely served our nation. You weren't proudly doing that and pivoting into your core mission while you were pumping money into those DEI programs under the previous administration. Where was the pride then? Or were you worried about a different kind of pride? You don't give a shit about those veterans. I'm sorry. That pissed me off, actually, right there. That pissed me off right there. Jericho says, anyone see Selena Gomez get herself canceled? Actually, we're going to be talking about her in a minute. She's on the thumbnail. Joe said lots of Mexican nationalists are rioting in Nebraska, Arizona, and other states. Well, they can leave if they don't like it here. Jane says, wow, we DEI are staff from other cultures or alien residents other than American. Usually they are doctors or pharmacists from overseas but live here now. Interesting. And I see Brian is here. And all people said thumbnail Selena Gomez is a fake and rejected a prior claim of Christian to become Wiccan and wasted a kidney. Her ex-best pal was pressured to donate and tries to crocodile tears away back to relevancy. And Joe says DEI just means no white males. But we'll be talking about Selena here in a minute. But I don't believe for a minute that the people that are currently governing the VA cares. Again, we are proud to have abandoned the past. The past, it was last week. Beats on their spouse. Baby, it's on the past. I caught you 2 days ago. No, you just did this because you were ordered to. You don't have a choice. Don't act like you're proud to do it. That's just the battle cry of someone trying to keep their job and remain relevant. You don't care about those veterans, or else it would have been done. And they said they're looking forward to pivoting back to the VA's core mission, away from the core mission. You waste money and you ignore the people that rely on you. You've been turned away from your core mission. And I'm glad they're being dismantled. Well, they're being reset, I should say. They're being reset. And Vin Lago says, don't forget straight. Commenting on Joe Doe's comment there. Yeah, straight white male. You're there's a lot of them out there, but you wouldn't think so. To look at the media, you wouldn't think so. This one I'm pulling up. because it ties in with some of the stuff I've been talking about yesterday and Friday. Elementary school teacher that my wife knows. That's why I want to talk about this. This is a USA Today article. Teacher tells ICE to visit high school where many students don't even speak English. And this is being blown up in the news, and they're going after the teacher for it. A teacher in Fort Worth, Texas, is under investigation by district officials after allegedly asking U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on social media to raid a public high school they teach at in the city. On Monday, Fort Worth Independent School District confirmed that it had been notified about a substitute teacher, implying I wonder if it's Peggy Hill, implying the Immigration Law Enforcement Agency should visit one of its secondary schools. School officials did not respond to a request to identify the teacher or say how long they had taught in that district. Quote, and this is the public schools official response, I think. We are aware of a recent social media post referring Northside High School, which was allegedly made by a substitute teacher and has caused concern among our Fort Worth ISD community, said the district in a statement obtained by USA Today. We take this matter very seriously and are conducting a thorough investigation to understand the circumstances and ensure appropriate actions are taken. I'll tell you what will happen. They already know who it is. They'll suspend the person. And as far as figuring out what happened, you just get a substitute teacher who's fed up with sitting in classrooms full of kids who can't even pay attention. They can't even really properly ignore you like most students. They literally don't know what you're saying. Like the elementary school teacher, again, that my wife and I know, that my wife had a conversation with last week about that, has a dozen or so illegal immigrants forced into her classroom that do not speak English at all, and they just sit there all day looking around or staring out the window or whatever because they can't be taught. They're just in there because the law says they have to be. This is just someone who got fed up, said something off color on social media, and now they're making a big deal out of it. ARN says Palatine is the AI company, or Palinter is the AI company that will spy on us. That's why we're drilling. Got to take 100% more energy. And Adrian said federal funding freeze, including Medicaid research grants, Pell grants, etc. today. Yeah, I got that one lined up as well. And Jane says, did you hear Quakers and Catholic churches upset about illegals going back home? Are they really, though? I know the Catholic Church is, because Catholic Church charities have been screwed up for a long time. As far as the Quakers, I don't know what the deal is with that, actually. I think they just don't want ICE coming on their property. And Joe reminds us a lot of kids have parents who have no interest in parenting. That is correct. But that's that big story. Now, here's the big, here's what I was talking about. This is what's going on with the thumbnail coming up here. I don't know if I have the video clip. I sure hope so. Hold on a second. Yeah, I've got something here. This is an Evening Standard article that I'm going to pull up in a moment. I'll put that up from all people if anybody wants to take a look at it. And this is the Selena Gomez. It says Selena Gomez hits back at right-wing critics after sobbing over Trump's illegal immigrants crackdown. And I'll play the clip here in a moment. And let me just read some of this article first. Selena Gomez faced a backlash from conservative commentators after posting a video of herself in tears as she spoke out against Trump's drive to deport illegal immigrants from America. The Emilia Perez star, I don't know who that is. Is that a part she played? Sobbed to the camera as she seemed to reference the U.S. president's plans to crack down and block illegal aliens entering the U.S. across the southern border. Shortly after becoming the 47th U.S. president, Trump declared a national emergency on the U.S.-Mexico border, saying he would dispatch troops there and resume a policy forcing asylum-seeking migrants to wait in Mexico. In the 30-second video, which has been deleted from Instagram, if she really meant it, she wouldn't have pulled it down when she was criticized. A distraught Gomez says, I just wanted to say that I am so sorry. All my people are getting attacked, and children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything. I promise. Okay. Now I'm going to try to play the video clip. Hopefully I don't get interrupted by an ad. This is such nonsense. And ARN reminds us Vatican City has a wall around it. You get charges if you try to stay there. Of course. Of course. And Jane says your honesty makes me laugh. Jericho said she disabled her comments on Instagram and her Facebook. Everyone is cooking her. It's insane. Yeah. And she pulled this video down after she started getting criticized. So let's see if we can hear Selena Gomez in her crocodile tears.
Just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are...
Oh, come on. Second. Can't get away from it, can you? Can't get away from it. Incredible.
getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything I practice.
I caught some there. Who knows what I just spotted? Who knows what I just spotted? I'm gonna call her out here in a moment. Jane says all the people, what the heck, let him go for sure. Jimmy said she can put them in her house. I know. Country says I know some legal immigrants that are with Trump on this one. Yeah, because they got here the hard way. They had to work for it. To see people get a pass and get paid for it, it's insulting. It's insulting. And here's Bob from across the pond. Glad you could make it. I'm going to play this again, and I'm going to point something out to you, and I want you to see if you can catch this, okay? Because I did a video on this because I caught Obama doing the same thing. It's an actor's trick.
Say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children.
All my people are getting attacked, and then she says the children. Okay, no one who's getting attacked.
I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know.
Now here it comes. Watch her hand. See where her fingers are? Now, there is an actor's trick, okay? There is an actor's trick where you put menthol on your fingertips and you touch your face with it, okay? Now you see her, when you see people crying, for real, okay? Let me get off the screen here real quick so I can demonstrate. When you see people crying for real and they wipe their eyes, how do they do it? I've seen people wipe it with their palm or the back of the hand like this. When you wipe your eyes when you're crying, do you stick your fingers in here and do this and wipe with your fingertips or the edge of your finger like that? You see what I'm doing? Like this? Do you ever see anyone cry in real life doing this? Or when they cry, is it the back of their hand, usually right where their thumb is, and they wipe like that across their wrist, or the back of their hand, maybe the palm? They don't put their fingers in their eyes. Actors do, because they've got menthol on their fingers. You dip your fingers in some Vicks Vapor Rub, You touch the corner of your eye. And I did a video like years ago when Obama was still president. I caught him doing this. And I did a video. People reamed me for it. They gave me a real hard time. But I was like, watch his finger play. He just sit there and he go like this. You don't wipe a tear like this with your fingertip and fingertip. And then the little tears start coming. Oh, look at him, he's sad. That's an actor's trick. And you know what really pisses me off? That's the best acting I've ever seen from her. That's her Oscar nod. That's her Oscar nod. ARN says enter illegally is a misdemeanor. If you get sent back or come back, it's a felony. Jane says, darn, learned so much here. But Tuck says, when I worked in food places, I used the 25 pounds of onions run through the slicer. Yeah, onion will do that too, but you know, it's easier with menthol. Like I said, you get some Vicks Vapor Rub, try it. Just dab, just barely. Just get it on your fingertips, just rub it in so that you can still touch things, right? Put it up near your eyes, waterworks. Here it comes. Then you just gotta do this, and oh my God, all the children, they're attacking my people, I don't know what to do. Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. Either that or she's so drastically out of touch with reality, which is possible, that it's practically a mental illness. You know, some of these people, some of these celebrities, they're crazy. They're crazy because they are so far removed from reality because they don't live in it. They're surrounded by yes men who tell them that everything they do is fantastic and that they're right all the time and that they're perfect. And, you know, they just follow a trend. They just follow a trend. Tuck says, I'll remember that Vicks trick. I've hated that stuff since I was a little kid. Oh, my God. Brian says Selena Gomez is a bad actress. Most of them are. Someone should also tell that filthy slut to cover up her rack. Wow, really? Is she exposed there? I can't tell. But yeah, naturally she's going to get a ton of backlash. She's going to get a ton of backlash. She looks and sounds ridiculous. You know what it reminds me of? That drag queen viral video meltdown when Britney Spears cut her hair. Who remembers that? Oh, leave Britney alone. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And that person used menthol too, by the way. And Jericho says, I've seen Obama cry about a school shooting. He barely picked his eye. Yeah, he did, but he touches his eye. He touches the edge of his eye in that clip. Go back and watch it. JJ said tears for her people, but not for the drug-related deaths, human trafficking, citizens murdered, and so on. Yeah, if she loves it so much, she can find real estate south of the border. She's got enough money. Vulgar says bill for nationwide constitutional carry submitted. Nice. Nice. That's how it should be. But this was the thumbnail because I wanted to talk about that. I know they're picking it apart. They're picking it apart. These people sound insane. These actors sound insane when they get out there and they start talking and they start running their mouths, and you look at them and you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you that far removed from reality? That crazy? Or are you faking it? Are you faking it? In this case, I think she's faking it. I think she's faking it for relevancy. I think she's faking it for relevancy. All people wants us to leave Britney alone. Britney's another one who lost her mind. Lost her mind. Did anybody survive the Disney experience? Oh my. Did anybody survive that? Or have they all lost their minds? Have they all lost their minds? And Jane says they heard Trump is sending back the 8,000 transmogrified military. I'm surprised they're not complaining and marching. Wonder what Bruce Jenner is thinking. And Jimmy Slim says it's both. Yeah, that she's faking and crazy. Could be. Could be. Could be. I'm gonna, while we're still on the subject of Trump here, and I've got a commercial ad I wanted to share with you too, because I saw a pharmaceutical commercial last night. It will knock you on your butt. The side effects are insane. I don't know why people do this stuff. Fox News article. Pittsburgh mayor declares he will not cooperate with ICE on raids. People feel scared. Yeah, people feel scared. Pittsburgh Mayor Ed Gainey emphasized Monday that his administration would not be working with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Yeah, they do that independently. They can request local backup, but it's not required. So it's real easy to sit there and put yourself on a pedestal and pretend like you're taking a stand for something that you're not required to get involved with. Legally, the difference is you can't interfere with what they're doing, but you don't have to help them. What a wishy-washy piece of shit. I'm sorry. I just I love how they do something like that and act like they're doing you a favor. It reminds me of, and I'm going back a ways here, I did a video on Cumberland Farms many years ago because I used to work for Cumberland Farms, and I got fired from Cumberland Farms over some bullshit. And I came in, the district manager called me. I came into work, district manager was there, told me that they were terminating me. And he said, but I'm going to give you 3 hours for coming in today. And I told him, the law in Boston, labor laws in Boston says that if I show up for work without being called off, you legally have to give me 3 hours. Don't follow the law and act like you're doing me a favor. Man, he got mad. He was like, all right, well, fine. Yeah, and that's what this is. Legally, he doesn't have to help them. Don't act by not helping them. You're taking a stance. Don't. Speaking to the Pennsylvania Press Club Monday, Gainey said, I'm not going to be working with ICE. My administration will not work with ICE. We will do whatever's necessary to make our city more welcoming. Bada bing, bada boom. You know what I'm saying? When asked, Gainey attacked ICE, claiming that it would not solve the ongoing immigration crisis. Quote, ICE is not going to end the situation of a failed immigration policy. It's not going to do it. What is going to do it is create more situations where people feel scared. What it's going to do, I read that wrong. Where people don't feel safe, where people do things that normally wouldn't do. Bada bing, bada boom. You know what I'm saying? The funny thing here is in his first sentence, ICE is not going to end the situation of a failed immigration policy. You're sitting there saying that the immigration policy, you just now admitted it's worthless. That the last 4 years, the policy that's been in place that you've been supporting is worthless. Now that someone's trying to fix it, you want to stop them? Which is it? That whole comment is an oxymoron. And Bob wants to know what ICE stands for. Bob wants to know what ICE stands for. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. I see Raccoon has joined us. And Vulgar says 1,500 troops sent to the southern border, Marines, I think, right? 8,000 illegal invaders arrested as of last night. And all people said, thanks to the POTUS, the military will no longer be filled with tons of useless transistor radios. Oh, my. Oh, my. Jericho says you make him sound like a dumb henchman. Duh, okay, boss. Yeah, I know. I don't know what he sounds like. I just felt like picking on him. JJ likes the accent. He said, we'll get a full episode of Coffee Talk one day where you'll do that voice the whole time. I don't know. I don't have quite the subscriber base to pull something like that off. But yeah, I'm not above doing voices. I'm not above doing voices. Oh, here's another extremely weepy left-wing liberal talking point. Quote from Gainey. Change is through the legislation. We know what needs to happen. Where's the appetite to do it, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Know what I'm saying? Change is through legislation. Legislation is what brought us here. You want red tape and bureaucrats and committees to examine why the previous committee failed. We wants to make sure that when immigrants is here, that they feel welcome. We wants to make sure that they don't know what we want to provide services for them. Bada bing, bada boom. Feel me? We don't want no hates. We don't want no division. We don't want no evil. We wants to make sure that we's creating a city where everybody feels is welcome. Bada bing, bada boom. You feel me? Oh my God, what a dipshit. I'm sorry. Well, he knows something. He got to be the mayor. He's doing better than I am. I guess I'm the dipshit. He wants red tape. He wants paperwork. He wants bureaucracy. He wants committees to examine committees to examine committees. He wants to waste your money, is what he wants to do. After he just admitted he wants more legislation after legislation has failed. I'm going to end the situation of a failed immigration policy. Why did it fail, jackass? Why don't you explain it to me? Why don't you explain it to me why it failed? Jericho says, yeah, hey, I'm working here. Yeah. I'm the mayor's here. You know what I'm saying? I'm working. I'm working here. I'm trying to get the jobs done. You know what I'm saying? Bada bing, bada boom. Can't help it, folks. I can't help it, folks. This is why I need to have like 100,000 subscribers right here. You can't find this on those other channels. It's okay, though. It's okay, though. I really wanted to get to this commercial. There's so much to talk about. This also came up. This was brought up earlier in the chat, but I did have it lined up. So I'll go ahead and pull it up here while we're on the subject. And this is from Reason Magazine. This is from Reason Magazine. And you all saw this, and they're giving him a hard time in the press, but I totally get why this was done. I do understand, and I agree. I agree. No more government assistance. And there he is. Hi, Trump. How you doing? He doesn't look orange. Does his hair look orange to you? Freeze. With the exceptions of Social Security and Medicare benefits, the federal government has paused issuing grants, loans, and all other forms of financial assistance. This means funding for schools. You know, I don't give a shit about that. This means funding for disaster relief. This means grants to state and local governments. This means home buying assistance. Well, as far as funding for disaster relief, I mean, that's why he sent I believe Trump sent the Army Corps of Engineers to North Carolina, didn't he? Nobody knows what exactly will happen or for how long this will go on. They also don't know whether it's legal. Nobody knows. Yeah, that I can understand. Nobody knows what's legal or illegal anymore. This was done by the Office of Management and Budget, OMB. Yeah, you know me, under the direction of President Donald Trump, not Congress, which generally gets say over how such funds are directed. And it takes them years, and they sneak all kinds of nasty shit in there too. This temporary pause will provide the administration time to review agency programs and determine the best uses of the funding for those programs consistent with the law and the president's priorities, wrote the director of the OMB, who apparently was educated in Eton. In fiscal year 2024, of the nearly $10 trillion federal government spent, more than $3 trillion was federal assistance such as grants and loans. Career and political appointees in the executive branch have a duty to align federal will of the American people as expressed through presidential priorities. Financial assistance should be dedicated to advancing administration priorities, focusing taxpayer dollars to advance a stronger and safer America, eliminating the financial burden of inflation for citizens, unleashing American energy and manufacturing, ending wokeness and the weaponization of government, promoting efficiency in government and making America healthy again. The use of federal resources to advance Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies is a waste of taxpayer dollars that does not improve the day-to-day lives of those who we serve. Those who we serve. ARN wants me to say Monster Mash. Monster Mash. You want Boris Karloff to say Monster Mash is what it is. It's the Monster Mash. That's the Boris Karloff doing his exaggeration voice. Boris Karloff, everyone. Yeah, I was interfering with Restream, so I'll have to shut that down. I'm all for stopping that. I get it. Okay, there's some grants that are going out that people might actually deserve, but there's also a lot of money going out that shouldn't be for programs that are a waste of time. Government has all this extra money and they don't know what to do with it. And rather than giving it back or putting it away or paying something off like they should, they find all these pet projects that they waste the money on. And that's your tax dollars getting flushed down the drain. It's absolutely disgusting. Stacy is here, says, what are we talking about today? I'm a little late. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to start. We talked about Selena Gomez and her fake crying. We've talked about Donald Trump. We've talked about immigration. And Bob wants to know if there are still wildfires in LA. The fires are not under control yet. They are not under control yet. As we continue on here. Yeah, I'm all for shutting that down. He wants to stop it temporarily to see where the money is supposed to be going and to see if there are programs in there that it's a complete waste of time. Like we talked about with the funding that was taken away from, since it was just brought up, the fire department in Los Angeles had funding cut. Where did that money go? Gay Boys Choir, Transgender Coffee House, free coffee for transgender homeless people. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Instead of buying firefighting equipment. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Bob Smith has joined us. Glad you could make it. And Jane says, what? Los Angeles is still burning? Not necessarily Los Angeles, but the fire, of course, it continues to move because they haven't been able to stop it because they don't have the equipment. And I know somebody is curious about, I should have done a video on it separately, actually. Why don't they just use ocean water? One, it'll destroy the equipment. Remember, it's salt water. Salt water will damage or ruin all of their pumping equipment. Two, it will kill the environment where it's dumped. Once upon a time, you remember in the Bible where they talk about salt that's lost its flavor is only good for throwing on the road. I forget where it is in the New Testament that quote is. That's what they used to do to keep vegetation from growing on the road and to keep animals off the road. They would throw salt there. Because old salt, they would use salt to soak up spills or to soak up blood at the temple, scoop it up and dump it out on the road because it kills everything. If they scoop up salt water and just dump it anywhere, nothing may grow there for decades. They could kill everything. And Adrian wants to know how Denmark's defense of Greenland is going. Italy withdrawing from the WHO. Everybody should withdraw from the WHO because it's a lie. It's a lie. The WHO can't be trusted. Doctors Without Borders can't be trusted either. They can't be trusted either. As we shift on, I want to get to this commercial that I saw last night that, man, it's scary. It is scary. And I'm going to see if I can pull this up here. Let me see where this break starts, where they start talking about the side effects. And that's Jardiance. Have you heard of Jardiance? I want to get to where they're talking about the side effects, because I heard this last night and I was like, wow, this is terrifying. Who takes this stuff? A lot of what's in the commercial is them singing a jingle. Okay. I'm going to see if I pick this up where they start talking about side effects, and I want to talk about that. Hold on. And it's for adults with type 2 diabetes, and it's supposed to reduce your AO1. So take this pill instead of changing your diet like the endocrinologist told you to, right?
Two. Serious side effects include increased ketones, which can be fatal. Stop.
Fatal urine. Gotcha.
Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, trouble breathing, or increased ketones.
Like you'll know if you have increased ketones in your urine without going to the doctor.
It may cause dehydration that can suddenly worsen kidney function and make you fidget or weak upon standing. Genital yeast infections in men and women, urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, or rare life-threatening bacterial infection.
Hold on a second. Let me catch that. Genital yeast infections in men and women. I went to their website because there's different types of yeast infections. Okay, the yeast infection they're talking about is I believe it's called candidiasis, and if I pronounce that correctly, I don't remember. It's probably about the worst thing you can imagine. Candidiasis, I think, if I could describe that every time you went to the bathroom, you urinated cottage cheese, that's what candidiasis looks like. And it's extremely dangerous. Okay?
Threatening bacterial infection between and around the anus and genitals can occur.
Now, what they just said there, because they're speaking very fast, a rare bacterial infection that spreads from the anus to the genitals that is life-threatening. Yeah.
Call your doctor right away if you have fever or feel weak or tired, and pain, tenderness, swelling, or redness in the genital area. Allergic to Jardiance. Stop.
How do you know you're allergic to it until after you've already poisoned yourself with this stuff?
Stop use if you have a serious allergic reaction. Call your doctor if you have rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, or swallowing. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss.
Now, that one threw me. You may have an increased risk of lower limb loss. Lower limb loss is when anything between your toes and your knee is amputated. So to have a lower AO1C, instead of just eating a healthier diet, which is what the endocrinologist tells you to do, because if you have type 2 diabetes, you can manage it. You don't even need, most cases, you don't even need the medication if you balance your diet. Okay, you can be very healthy and even reverse the effects if you're willing to put in the work. You're going to exercise and you're going to diet properly. I used to have to take clients to the endocrinologist, especially when I worked for JJA. I used to have to sit in with all those appointments because we had diabetic clients in juvenile justice. And if they were in the facility, they transferred to my facility, and I had to bring them to the endocrinologist. Before the endocrinologist would even see them, they had to sit through a seminar talking about this. You may not even need the medication, even if you're a type 2. Diet and exercise, diet and exercise, diet and exercise. They drill it in, drill it in. What's the only thing that most of these people don't do? diet and exercise. They want to take a damn pill and listen to these side effects. It's terrifying. Candidiasis, because they tell you yeast infections. You go to the website and they'll name the yeast infection for you. It's the worst one. The worst one. A rare infection between the anus and genitals that's fatal, potentially fatal. That's incredible. Yeah, Vulgar says when the side effects are worse than the problem. Exactly. And then you'll need more pills to fix that. I did a video on this the other day. That's why, because side effects is a really, really watered down way of saying that your body has reached a toxicity level by which you're being poisoned. It's a politically correct way for saying poisoned. And I'm like, how does this stuff pass? How does this kind of shit get through the FDA? Well, the FDA doesn't examine any of this stuff anymore. Thank you, George Bush. Somebody reminded me of that the other day, actually. They were like, didn't George Bush sign something on that? Yeah, actually. Now, these drug companies, if you ever wondered, are allowed to do their own research and then submit the findings for approval. Joe says Trump tried to ban these ads in his first term and they stopped him. And I will remind you all, I've talked about this before, okay, that the United States and New Zealand are the only two countries in the world that permit pharmaceutical advertising to the general public. The only two in the world. Tuck says 20 minutes of brisk movement, walking, bike, etc. before breakfast is very helpful. Moving at all. Most of these people don't move at all. And next thing you know, they're having bits chopped off.
Call your doctor right away if you have new pain or tenderness, sores, all in your legs or feet.
Don't they look so happy? Oh my God. They look so happy. Those so-called side effects are terrifying. But this one really threw me this time, because I hear these commercials all the time and it just goes over my head. But when they said you may have amputations of lower extremities, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know what that means. Anything from the knee down. A toe, half your foot from the ankle down, your knee down. That's what that means. And then the infection got me too. It's incredible. Vulgar says big pharma and huge lobbyists, which means I'll give you enough money so we can do what we want. And Stacy wants to know if we heard about Project 25. Is Trump going to do that? He's not connected with Project 25. He has his own agenda, although there are a couple of things that are similar. I have seen some of the excerpts from it, and I got to say, I don't disagree with a lot of it. And all people is reminding us FDA is part of the medical industrial complex. Well, they passed it off. I'll probably get in trouble for sharing that, but I wanted to talk about it. Because it's insane. It's insane what these people do. And they're killing us. They're poisoning everybody. I believe it. And Zane has joined us here today. I think all that stuff is toxic. You don't need it. While we're still on the subject of Trump, since he came up again, this is a Daily Beast article. Trump orders the U.S. to stop the distribution of life-saving HIV drugs. Now, here's the thing, though. That sounds really damning, but he's talking about distributing it over. We give away billions of dollars worth of these drugs every year to other countries. That's what he wants to walk back. President Trump has paused funding for the popular and effective program for distributing HIV/AIDS medication known as PEPFAR, the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief as a result of Trump's January 20th executive order, halting the vast majority of foreign aid for at least 90 days. And of course, this is a discovery window. They want to see whether or not they should continue doing it. Is it a waste of money, and so on? Since its creation in 2003 by President George W. Bush, PEPFAR, which has a $6.5 billion annual budget, has saved an estimated 26 million lives and prevented millions of infections, according to the State Department. Yet the pause in funding, State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce told NPR, is a moral imperative. The U.S. is no longer going to blindly dole out money with no return for the American people. The bulk of PEPFAR's work takes place in developing nations where patients are already being turned away. The New York Times has reported Giorgio Ratzvion, if I pronounced that right, I probably didn't. The Biden administration's chief of staff for PEPFAR told the outlet, "This is another domino in the devastating impact of the harmful freeze to programs, leaving lives hanging in the balance." And that's really all there is to this article. But bottom line, he looked at the fact that we give away $6.5 billion worth of medication to developing nations that they're not even sure if it's getting used. They don't know where this money is, where it's really going, as is pointed out by the person from the State Department here, Tammy Bruce, that patients have already been turned away. The medication may not be doing them any good anyways. We don't know where the hell that stuff's going. Bob says, I have tablets whose side effects can be constipation and diarrhea. Shame on you. Yeah, well, and it could be worse too. There's a lot of scary stuff in a lot of these so-called side effects. A lot of scary stuff. Gary says, a rational person wouldn't play the lottery, so why would I risk my health with pharmaceuticals and lesser odds? Well, most people do play the lottery, and most people will blindly swallow pills without even worrying about or reading side effects, because most people are not that smart, and most people are lazy. I'm not against pausing this program to find out where the money's really going. $6.5 billion a year to give away pills, and we don't even know if they're getting them. I can't say I'm upset about that. I can't say I'm upset about that at all. But I want to throw in something about corruption here. You know I love talking about corruption in government. I give you Tiffany Henyard. Remember her? Tiffany Henyard, the super mayor, or so she claims, Fox News article. Illinois super mayor conducted systematic cover-ups of excessive spending, according to the Lightfoot investigation. You all remember that Lori Lightfoot, mayor of Chicago, was hired to investigate Tiffany Henyard. So one bad mayor hired to investigate an even worse one. And now they want to know the findings. Dalton, Illinois mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration was engaged in a systematic effort to cover up the Illinois town's financial situation, as Henyard and other officials failed to track the spending of hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's more like millions, according to an investigation by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Leprechaun Lightfoot. Leprechaun Lightfoot. Or Beetlejuice Lightfoot if you prefer. Lightfoot, who now works as a consultant with Charles River Associates, must be nice for $400 an hour. I'm not exaggerating. Charles River is in Boston, was tasked with investigating Henyard's administration last year, and she presented her findings at a meeting Monday night. Henyard has served as the city's self-styled super mayor since 2021. Beginning at least as early as late 2021, there was a concerted, systematic effort on behalf of Mayor Henyard and others in her administration to hide the true financial condition of the village of Dalton from the trustees and from members of the public. And that is a direct quote from Lightfoot. Lightfoot said the village of Dalton received some $3 million in payments from the American Rescue Plan, hundreds of thousands of which went missing without receipts. Henyard failed to appoint an official to track down how the funds were spent, as required by the Treasury Department, according to Lightfoot's report. You know where that money went. She doesn't need to appoint somebody because she knows where it is. The city's credit card spending spiked to $779,638 in 2023, with little or no tracking. Many of the credit card expenditures have no accompanying receipt, and the statements alone provide limited information about purchases. City credit cards were also used to pay for large trips to Las Vegas and in 2022 and 23, and the report claims there is no evidence that any business development opportunities came to the village as a result of either of these trips. And there's Henyard being snarky with her gold light microphone. And Marvel Fan is here. Glad you could make it today. Vulgar has something there about HR 38. She's corrupt. She's been stealing. They went from being 5 million over, having more than $5 million in excess, to having almost a deficit of that amount. So they may not be able to prove hundreds of thousands in receipts, but there's millions of dollars missing. And Henyard is right at the core of that and has made efforts to cover it up, and they know. Gary says, if the system isn't rigged, why hasn't Henyard been terminated by the state or feds yet? Technically, I believe that the governor could fire her unless he's afraid he'll be accused of racism. That's the only excuse I can think of, because he could have removed her and put an interim mayor in her place pending another voting process. Zane says corruption. Exactly. Joe says, I heard stories Chicago corrupt leadership used to fix a road, then blow up the road so they would get more work. I don't know about that, but I do know that their system is really corrupt. I mean, I used to live in Illinois. I was in Illinois when the Federal Lottery Commission suspended them from being able to sell lottery tickets because they wanted to know where the hell the money was going. They couldn't sell lottery tickets for months because the winners weren't getting their checks. They're like, what the hell are you people doing? And they had redirected funding to the DMV, and the DMV's money was redirected somewhere else, and so on. Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, as they used to say. So yeah, there's the findings. What's going to be done about it? Cook County Judge Celisa Horan held Henyard in indirect criminal contempt, means that the mayor was considered disrespectful to the authority of the court. Big deal. Big deal. Is anything going to be done about it? Well, she can't run again. She gets no support. She's not on the ticket. Even the Democratic ticket put her off. Democratic ticket put her off. So there's that. But with that, we are at the top of the hour, so I will go ahead and start signing off. Again, you are listening to and or watching Coffee Talk, and you can find the live portion Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, on Coffee Talk and Prepper University. You can find me on fistfulofradio.com, podcasting out of Atlanta, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Friday at noon, I believe. You can find me on Rumble, Coffee Talk 2, and that's the number 2. But if you're watching on Rumble, I cannot see your comments, not on Restream. So thank you, everybody who was able to join us here today. As always, hope you got something out of the conversation. And we will catch you again